Not all pickles are cucumbers. All sorts of vegetables can be pickled, and there is no vegetable that is prettier or healthier than the beet. It's really the only way I've actually eaten beets, come to think of it. And even though I'm sure there are healthier ways to enjoy them, even with the added sugar that most pickling recipes called for, they are still a powerhouse of nutrients, packed with antioxidants, promoting heart health, and full of all sorts of nutrients like vitamin C, potassium, magnesium, and even calcium. I've never made my own pickled beets, so I was super excited to try when I came across this vintage recipe from the 1950s community cookbook from the Ladies Society Congressional Church from Springfield, South Dakota. They are easy to make, and now I have a healthy and lovely snack to enjoy for any occasion. The first step to making them is prepping the beets. They can be pretty dirty, so wash them well, then chop off the leaves and the root ends. Don't throw away the leaves though. A lot of people don't realize beet greens are not only edible, but delicious, packed with a lot of the same nutrients as the roots. At the end, I'll show you a salad that is a great way of enjoying them, so stick around for that. Drop the beets in a pot of water and bring it to a boil, simmering until they are fork tender. Depending on the size, they can take 20 to 40 minutes, so start checking after 20, but be patient. As they start getting close, you'll want to prepare an ice bath. Shocking them in ice water immediately after they come out of the boiling water will encourage the skins to peel right off. No need for a peeler or a knife. They just slough off with a light rub. The results are beautifully smooth cooked beets with as little waste as possible. Now slice the beets however you'd prefer. I'm cutting mine into thick, rustic slices, but you can halve them, slice them thin, or even leave them whole. Totally up to you. Now it's time to boil them in the pickling solution. So add them to a large pot that's safe to boil acidic solutions in, like enameled cast iron. I posted a video earlier about why it's important to use the right kind of pot to boil vinegar, so I will link it below if you're curious. Add sugar and vinegar, then whole allspice, cloves, and a cinnamon stick. The recipe says to put the spices in a small sack, but I left mine free in the solution. It will work great either way. Finish with a lemon, sliced thin, and even though the recipe didn't call for it, I added half a teaspoon salt. Top that off with water and bring it to a boil, simmering for 15 minutes. Transfer the hot beets to a sterilized jar and top it off with enough liquid to cover the beets. Then seal it up and let it cool to room temperature before transferring to the fridge. All done. The beets are ready to enjoy right away, but they just get better as they marinate, so they're best the next day. My favorite way to enjoy them is in a salad made from the beet greens we cut off earlier. I stored the greens in water so they stayed fresh, then shred them, topped with fresh nectarines and the pickled beets. Then I sprinkle feta or goat cheese on top and a handful of pumpkin seeds, then top with a simple vinaigrette. I chose balsamic vinaigrette this time, but feel free to use your favorite. It's a delicious way to use up those healthy greens and enjoy your pickled beets in a fresh, pure, and simple way. I'm so grateful Mrs. Hawkey shared her recipe in her community's cookbook, so I can enjoy it almost 75 years later. I hope you enjoy it enough that it encourages you to save more of these vintage spiral-bound community cookbooks and cook more old recipes.